たいた。ひなた
遅くにいらしても温かいコーヒーを楽しんでいただけますよ。たまには一息ついて力を蓄えることも大切です。
ひなわたひなたひなたひなたひなたまなんなひなたひなたひなわたひなわたひなわたまなんなまなんなひなた
無意味なあがきです。この気を逃さぬ。チリとシェイとヘッサハッタヤッ刀はもう鞘です。この気を逃さん。 へっやったへっやはへっややへっ時間の無駄ですや刀はもう鞘だはっや時間の無駄です。背後ですこの気を逃さんえっやったえっはや皆さんじゃ耐えてみせる殴り込火力何よ一切の私はオーボロスの目です背中は任せていただけますかお待たせしてしまい申し訳先ほど不穏相手は悪意を持つ十字の方向それに
じっとしてるのはヤニーばあさんちょっと
お知り合いでしたかであればよく以前の体調がよくしかし
そんなことないよトリガーは他の人に比べて
人にはそれぞれこと気配は目に見えるものではありませんが
そうなんだ
あなたの気配は
それって
ええ理解はしているのですが一度形になった気配は
それでもやっぱりトリガーには私の姿
そうですか例えば対話交流もしよろしければあなたをももう大丈夫です少々緊張されているようでしたがとても丸くて弾力のあるイアスの気配
私もトリガーの輪郭を覚えたよ
ありがとうございます今度こそ
Okay, I think I'm not going to do my weekly bosses at the moment. I'll just go start directly on the on Trigger's quest.
背中は任せていただけますか。
なんだ。
番号1、
真空アンビ。総括はここだよ。
一切の脅威から守ってやろう。
まず
1匹2匹
何
5
命令を待つわ。シルバー小隊隊長ご無沙汰。カロン、ルートを算出するにはまだ時間がかかるの。
私にお任せを。ここには以前別件で来たのですが、その際に全ての道を覚えました。
いい戦術。
近くから来ます。
ルートの計算なら本当にあとちょっとだよ。そんなに急がなくても。
それお別れ。一度歩いた道なら記憶をたどった方が効率的です。プロキスさん、こちらへ。この先の道は確かこの辺りのはず。前に来たことがあるのに。
自業自得ね。
どうやら道を間違えて覚えていたようです。今一度思い出しますので。申し訳ありません。先入観で
ところでカロンってどうしてスムーズに戦えてるの？感覚が優れてるから？
それもありますが、実は目がこうなった時にはすでに特殊な力を得ておりました。
ちょっと待って、前方に何かが。なんでこんなことは。一体誰の仕業なの？
致命傷になった傷の具合と使用された弾丸の
周辺のエーテル濃度が上昇中。何が起きてるの？
連携攻撃準備よし。
待って、原因を今調べて。エーテル放出中の装置を多数発見。この先だよ。
行きなさい。
充電する。
高圧エーテルタンクですね。中身は高濃度のエーテルです。
They're doing a combat tutorial now after we had to do the shitload of combat? Like, oh, I see. Where is it? This? I don't know, it's just the aim. Oh, I see, it's just the aim at the... Shit. Got it. You're supposed to shoot them until they stop blowing gas, I guess.
プロキシさん、こちらに生存者が4名います。よ
かった、まだ生きてる人。
確認しました。1名は肺胞に被弾しており。
Bullet pierced through their lung? How the fuck are they not dead? Like, not only do they have a collapsed lung, but they have a bullet through the chest. Like, they should be bleeding out. Even if they didn't, like, hit an artery, he should be dead by now. Like, there's no way in hell you could get out a guy with a bullet through the lung without them dying. Especially because we don't know how long these people have been in here.
彼はもう助かりません。
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, he is dead.
助けてくれ。
本当にどうにもならないの？
内臓を著しく損傷しています。この出血では
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, like, yeah, there's no way in hell.
命が消失する速度に
Bullet through the chest with organs damaged. Like, it takes you time to get out, and then of course you don't have him on a gurney. You're gonna have to like carry him, like in a princess carry, or across. I mean, and realistically, princess carry is something you can do when you're super strong. Realistically, you'd have to do like fireman's hold because you can do that much more easily. But he has a fucking bullet through the chest, and his chest would be on like the back of your head, so he'd be constantly being jostled. Like, there's no way in hell you could bring out a severely wounded person like that and have them not die.
カロン、大丈夫？
私なら大丈夫です。ご心配なく。誰かの死に目に遭うことは。
思い出した。あいつ。
私は頭のおかしいやつではありません。立てますか？
離脱。
何にしたってこんなこと。
Is this dude one of the perpetrator? Is he the one who killed them all? Shot that guy and then like got out of his killer outfit to be recovered? I thought he said he was tied up hands and feet. So it's like he did say he got the knife out, but he didn't say he actually cut himself loose. But I guess presumably he must have. But like, if that's the case, if he wanted to see them panic, tying them up was good, but he should have untied them once in the hollow. Like, once he deposited them at the location, he should have untied them at that point, because he wants to see them panic. Like, if they don't untie themselves, then they'll just be fish in a barrel, which doesn't seem to be the killer's MO. So it's weird that he was still tied up. But we'll see. Maybe the other guy will corroborate that. But it's kind of weird that... So, you were found with all the others, but you supposedly broke free of your bonds, and if the others were also not... If the others were not able to break free like you were because they didn't have a knife, then it'd be weird that you were with them. Three of us. Well, there's a fourth. Interesting. There was another woman, although I guess we did actually come across a few other bodies, so presumably one of them was her friend. Oh, okay, so they were able to. Seems like all of them were tied up when they were in there, and they were all able to break themselves out. Interesting that all three of them were able to break free of their bonds. Despite, so then, like, clearly the killer didn't give a shit if they got free. He probably placed them in locations that had broken places, but then why even tie them up then? What, to make them, like, to get them out? Like, no, you just leave them untied. Like, there's no point in that. There's no point to leave them tied if the whole point was to, chase them. Or, like, leave their feet untied. You want to leave their feet untied? Sure. So they can at least run, even if they aren't able to break free their hands. With their feet untied, they can at least run, provide you with some sport.
それじゃあ私から。名前はゾーイ。昔は防衛軍で兵士をやってたわ。
俺はジェシー。今はインターノットで。
私の番でしょうか。エリーンと申します。フォローで私の仲間を見ませんでしたか？背丈は私くらいで、肩までで揃えた。
私の記憶が確かなら、助けたせい。
いいんです。これから彼女を探すつもりなので、きっと無事でいる。
慰問の日？簡潔に言うと、防衛軍が不定期に開催してる退役軍人や遺族のための行事ね。
Oh, is that it? Is it her friend? Is it her friend, the perpetrator? Were these people involved in some sort of like defense force shenanigans where someone ended up dying? Maybe that friend's sister or something, and so she's doing this to like punish the people involved.
彼女が見つからなかったら、慰問の行方不明というそのご友人も、彼女とは同じ正体に。
防衛軍関係者を狙った連続殺人。さあ、あながち間違いでもないんじゃない？そこのジェシュはなん
俺自分の軍歴をひけらかすのにオブシディアン大隊のノクテ小隊にいたんだ。
私もオブシディアン大隊だったからインペラ小隊よ。
待ってください。私の記憶違いじゃなかったら。
そんな印象はなくもないけど。
お三方、情報あなたたちの。
Yeah, so I bet her friend was so I bet their three squads were part of some sort of mission, ended up leading to some deaths. I bet her friend is the one who's doing it, because like one of her friends or family died because they were not able to protect them, and so she's just blaming them, and now she's essentially getting revenge on all the people she feels is responsible who are unable to protect her friend or family. That'd be my guess.
ちょっと手がかりが少ないな。
Obviously, I don't have much to base it off of, but that's just what I'm guessing.
はっきりわからない人、そうかもしれません。
そう。何はとも
ありがとうございます。ですが、まずはご自分の安。
もちろんだ。たらもうしばらくは。 ハヤト。
羊飼い、ここまで走ってきたの？
まあまあ、
あの場所に残された人為的な痕跡は誘拐があったことをそう
、依頼人は誘拐された後フォローに連れ込まれ、
なんと言ったらいい。この位置情報を新エリ
手がかりが途切れてお手上げだったところに、
とにかくあんたらはもっか誘拐の線で動いてるわけだな。それ以外のことは気をつけろよ。怪我人でも出たらいよいよあんたらの手には負えん。
プロキシさん、ありがとうございます。
どういたしまして。でもよかったの？
犯人は殺人に躊躇のない狙撃手です。銃撃された部位を見るに大多数のホローレイダーは狙撃手を相手にした戦闘は経験が、また応援を求めるとしたらその分行動は遅延するわけですから。
羊飼いに本当のことを黙ってた以上、私はもう
理解しています。
その依頼人とは？
依頼人の正体は軍を離れて彼らを捜索するため、あの曲にはお願いします、プロキシさん。
カロンがいても立ってもいられない気持ち。
ありがとうございます。
Yeah, I assume it immediately started the second quest, right? Oh, ether and ice. Interesting. Is the recommendation.
私はオーボロスの殴打力メイド値、何やら一切の新命令を待つわ。シルバー小隊隊長、ご無沙汰ね。
ここに何かあるよ。これって通信機？
プロキシさん、こちらをご覧ください。フォローの入り。通
信機？
ええ。粉塵の堆積具。
出所の怪しい位置情報を頼りによく来たもんだ。ライアー正体？狙撃手。いや、今はカロンと名乗ってるのか？私のことはバルチャーと呼びな。この一連の事件の下手人と。
私の身辺を随分詳細に調査したようですね。
確かにあんたは邪魔だよ。けど
何を言っているのか分かりません。私は人を探していますが、共有された座標、もしあなたの引き渡しに
話し合い？こっちの位置を特定するための時間稼ぎだろ。驚かないけどね、あんたの目は特別みたいだけど。
I mean, you say that. You're like, oh, that's what you were doing. It's like, isn't it far more likely that she dodged your shot the second you fired and shot and did a counter shot? Like, you were the one biding for time. She's the one who reacted to your shot.
どうやら言葉で解決することはできそう。
威勢がいいね。人を探してるって言うなら、あんたのためにちょっとした贈り物。
Yeah, I bet it's like gonna be a dead person. Maybe the friend. I don't know. I mean, 'cause we don't have that much information, so I'm just guessing it's Zoe's friend that did it.
バルちゃんの射撃に気をつけて。なんとかしたいけど。箱を見つけたよ。でも何かがおかしい。
how did the box smell that bad if it's just some bloodied clothes? Like, I'd understand if a body was in there that was decomposing, but if it's just... Yeah.
この箱の中身、覚えがあるだろ。あんたの声優、ステックス愛用の帽子さ。
好きだらけ。
彼の死に様が知りたいか。テニスさ、教えてやる。自殺。いや、あれはエーテリアスに殺されたのと大差ないね。
また高圧エーテルタンク。
うまくいきましたね、プロキスさん。先へ進。
Yeah, so clearly these boxes just had... So I don't know why it would smell then. Unless actually they were transporting dead bodies, and then they took the body out, and... Or maybe the body became an ethereal decomposition. Or they removed the... They transported them in the box, and their decaying bodies made it smell. And then they popped out the bodies and they became ethereals. Obviously, it's just trying to set a mood, but yeah, it wouldn't make sense. If it's just some bloodied gloves, it wouldn't make the box smell bad.
エーテルサイト。
美人の突撃隊員にふさわしい優雅な手袋だ。もっとも彼女は死ぬ直前に両手をなくしたようだけどね。残念な話だとは思わないかい、狙撃手。
充電する。
綺麗な両手で手を握ることすらできず、エーテリアスに腕や足を組まれてない。
ほころびが見える。
甘く見た代償よ。私が見える。
意地を張って膝をつかなかった。死因は複数の致命傷。美しい花も保護されなければ簡単に散るもんさ。
視覚から。
さて、これは真実？妄想？どっちだと思う？おめでとう。それで3つ目だよ。さて、中身は誰の箱の数に限りがあったもんだから、そいつらは一つの箱に詰めるしかなく。
Well, it wouldn't be like so difficult to... I mean, maybe the boxes are super small, so they can't fit that many clothing. It's like it's just like clothing and equipment, like a box set that could easily hold that much.
もうやめて。家族同然の人たちを出しにして。
おっと、少し言い過ぎたかい？知っての通り、このフォローはあんたらを引きずり込むための罠。安心しなよ。あんたらの探してる人間はここにいないというか、できるわけがないからね。フォローの中でいい一撃だったね。殺すことにためらい。
発砲の瞬間、あなたの放つエーテルの波動がわずかに変化しました。私はそれをあなたに私の過去を知られているという事実は極めて不快ですが。
臆病だって面白い。さけど私にはわかる。その冷静なふりも。
カロンも私も戦友の。それにどうしてカロンに
あの死人どもと その女の関係そんなの本人に聞けばいいじゃないか。まさかプロ棋士
Yeah, so I assume that she means her teammates are long since dead, and now she's in a new squad because everyone else in her team's dead, and that's why she feels so much guilt. It's because she, you know, it's just survivor guilt.
数えきれない兵士がエーテリアスに殺されたから侵食でエーテリアスそのものになった。運よく生き延びたやつ、その女のせいにナイアン招待のメンバーだって例外じゃないだろうに。
妄想に付き合わせてなどいません。
理解できない。笑わせる。家族ごっこに。
この両目は旧と陥落時に視力この数年ずっと戦友たちの姿も私の彼らはきっと生きていて私がたどり
それが証拠だって。
It is kind of weird because like they're in the Hollow Zero, but like Hollow Zero is where Nineveh is, like is where the super ethereals are. Like the likelihood of anyone surviving in that is unusual. You know. Either that or they escaped long ago, but just like escaped a different method. But even I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like if they escaped, you'd think she would have heard of it. And it's very unlikely they would have lived, but yeah, so whatever. Unless they, you know, unless they became ethereals or corrupted in some way, but still able to be cognizant.
私は自分を欺いてなどいません。
青年は行方知らずで、現在公式に死亡認定している兵士が見つかると。自分だけがのうのうと生きていく上で後ろめたくない理由なら、どんな嘘だっていいんだろう。
I mean, this is stupid, right? You're like, oh, you weren't able to do anything while your comrades died. It's like, well, yeah, no shit. Like, when Hollow Zero hit, see, that's the other weird thing, right? Like, Hollow Zero hit, and she's like, oh, but you were in the defense force and fighting. Which is weird, because, like, so that, I mean, the Hollow Zero appearing is how they lost Eridu. So you'd think, considering how developed new Eridu is, that it would have been ages ago, right? But, like, it's not. It's like, no, like, it was like 10 years ago, which is kind of weird. You're like, wait, what? Like 10 or so? Because, like, she was in the Defense Force, but she doesn't look super old, right? She still looks, at the most, she's in her, like, late 20s. So it's like she would have, you know, been in her teens when the Hollow Zero thing happened. And that's assuming she's, like, 29 and it was 10 years ago, you know? But, like, and, like, we are, and the main characters ourselves also were like children who were being taken care of by the person who was being blamed for the Hollow Zero catastrophe. So it's just like, but they themselves look even younger. Like they look like they're still in their teens. So it would have had to have been like about 10 years ago, which is like crazy how developed this city is, considering everyone had to evacuate their old city. And like, if Hollow Zero was the first Hollow ever, then how did you develop ether technology so quickly, right? Because it's only when the Hollows developed that they realized, oh shit, these ether crystals are useful. We can, like, use them as fuel for all sorts of, like, technology and shit, but, like, and you did that all in 10 years? Like, that's insane. That's logistically impossible. To develop to research and develop manufacturing to like completely utilize this thing, like, because you didn't have a supply chain, right? Hollows just appeared. You didn't have people who could go into the Hollows safely, so you didn't have any pre-established mining methods of getting ether crystals. You didn't know the best and safest way to get them in the first place. So it's like you weren't able to get a reliable supply. You didn't already have research on them. Well, actually, technically, maybe they did. And that's why the Hollows even happened, is because people were doing research. Something fucked up. But even still, like, the research was incredibly limited. And you didn't have any manufacturing places to manufacture the technology that uses ether. So you were able to completely build up a logistics chain in 10 years and revitalize the city. Like, that's just I feel like the time frame for this is way too short. Like, honestly, you really kind of needed 20 years. You know? 20 years to do this, to go from no ether technology whatsoever to developing and managing an established supply chain for ether and its research and development that you've equipped everyone with. Like, I would think if you at least need 20 years for that type of shit. Games could completely rebuild a city, because Eridu, the city they were all in, is fucked. Now, New Eridu probably was just a suburb or a relatively close city, and so they probably just had everyone evacuate there and just rename it. So it's not like they remade, like, it's not like they built a city in 10 years. They probably just further developed an existing city. But still, 10 years is far too short to do all this shit. And they just keep bringing it up of like, oh yeah, like this is when this catastrophe happened, but like you keep saying that that's when Hollows first appeared in this world, and it seems like the world's gone to shit. And like they're saying that like because of the Hollows, like New Eridu is like one of the only bastions of human civilization now. Even though people still live in the Outer Ring, so it's like, well, that's not even true. But even though that's how you preface the entire game of New Eridu is the last place humans live, where it's like, well, no, it's not. But let's say it's the last big city, perhaps. But like, how does the world get completely fucked up in 10 years? That only one city exists where humanity lives. One major city. It's unrealistic.
カロン、温かいココアでもどうだい？
結構。バルチャーの言ってたこと真に受けちゃダメだよ。
プロ騎士さん、バルチャーが用意した偽の遺品に触れた時、キュートが陥落したあの感覚をずっと忘れようとしてきました。
もっと詳しく教えて。
あの日、05ホローが拡張を始めた当初。
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so maybe, okay, never mind then. Because, okay, so there were Hollows did exist though. Okay. Because the first hour Hollow Zero started expanding defense, it was just a normal Hollow disaster. Which means, oh, actually, oh, I see. Hollow Zero existed for longer. Its expansion is what destroyed the capital. But Hollow Zero had existed before that. And maybe was at a relatively stable state. So because Hollow Zero was always touted as the first Hollow. Obviously, because that's why it's Hollow Zero. And that was what's so weird. It was like, oh, well, if Hollow Zero expanding was what destroyed the capital, and this happened like 10 or so years ago, then it seems way too soon for them to have developed all this ether technology and the ability to like mine and do all this stuff, because the time frame seemed way too tight. Because I was always timing it based on when the capital fell, and that's when, because I assumed that the Hollow Zero destroying the capital was when Hollow Zero was created. And the creation of Hollow Zero, so Hollow Zero was created, then expanded and destroyed the city. Like, I was kind of thinking of it like, oh, Hollow Zero appeared, destroyed the capital, like, Hollow Zero appeared, and then it immediately destroyed the capital, and then we immediately had to, like, develop ether technology. But it seems like Hollow Zero appeared ages ago, or at least longer ago than that, was stable for a time, because they said they thought it was a normal Hollow disaster, which means there were Hollow disasters, there were other Hollows, and those other Hollows experienced disasters like expanding, so much so that they had system in place, and they thought, oh, okay, Hollow Zero expanding was just like a normal one. So maybe Hollow Zero appeared like 30 years ago, 20, 30 years ago or something, because I was saying they would have needed at least 20 years to develop a proper ether logistics chain and research and development to the point where we are now. So, but I was kept getting confused because I assumed, because I was making the correlation of Hollow Zero expanding and destroying the capital as also as the same time when it appeared, and they never really corrected that. They just keep talking about the disaster, but never really talked about specifically when the Hollows appeared. They did reference that Hollow Zero was the first Hollow, and then they referenced the Hollow Zero expanding is what destroyed the capital. So you just assumed that Hollow Zero appeared and then destroyed the capital, all in one fell swoop. But this clearly implies that Hollow Zero existed for longer. But it was its sudden expansion about 10 years ago that fucked over the old capital and had everyone evacuate to New York.
そのつもりでエーテリアスに対処すること。出発前ですが任務が始まってすぐ、我々は何もかもが想定と異なることに気づきます。ホローの外にいた防衛軍は今回のホロー災害が普通でないことに気づいたのです。実際増援が来たところで結果は変わらなかったでしょうが、その契機となったのは私です。エーテリアスが射出す、それからどれだけ経ったか、視力を失う寸前、わずか次に目覚めた時、もう私は軍の基地にいました。上層部がそれからです。最後に見た戦友たちの姿が私の視界にちらつくようになったのを、彼らはきっと私が意識を失った後も戦い続けた。
I mean, you were recovered, so maybe all three of them, even while being corrupted by the Hollow, were able to get you out. That's interesting because in the background, I think that's Nineveh. It looks like it has like a flared skirt, and that's kind of like how Nineveh was. I don't know what the little black bits above her. I have to go back and fight Nineveh again, but it does look like the dancer, because it looked like Nineveh kind of looks like where she's wearing a ballroom gown type thing with the huge flared skirt thing.
軍にも民間にも私の証言を信じてくれる人はいませんでしたから、プロキシさん。やはりあなたもそうお考えなのですね。ですが、もし彼らが本当にもう死んでいるとして、私は何と言ってこの目に映る彼ら一人一人の顔はぼやけて曖昧ですが。
聞いて、カロン。私とお兄ちゃんはご立派な理由があるわけじゃないけどね。私たちにも行方のわからないけど、その思いにとらわれて前に進めなくなっちゃうような。
リンの言う通りだ、カロン。君はとても優しい。
そうそう、どうか私たちに背中を預けて。バルチャーがあなたの思いと意志は誰にも。
プロキシさん、ありがとうございます。
But I guess that actually could be it. It could have been that all of them survived, but maybe the three of them were too corrupted, so they were put in like a coma or something. And so they're in a coma, and they're constantly being treated. So maybe that's why she hasn't seen them yet, is because they were rescued. But whereas you just had eye corruption, which they were able to fix with their surgery, they had too much of their body corrupted. So they've been put on ice while they slowly try to work to cure them, perhaps. Which would explain why you haven't seen them and they haven't appeared. It's not that they survived and are just chilling in the city. They survived, but they're, under lock and key, essentially, until they're cured.
まったく。スコット全焼基地だって。
慰問の日でしょう。
It's probably Hollow Zero. Well, Scott Outpost is right for Hollow Zero, so it would make sense if they, one, maybe are targeting people going to Remembrance Day. Two, they could be trying to pull people into Hollow Zero, which Scott Outpost is right next to.
ついにフォローに誘い込むことすらやめちゃったね。
挑発だろうと罠だろうと。
Oh, I thought I would just teleport directly to there. I see. We're taking the car. I mean, realistically, that's how we get there every single time. We're all this fast travel is really just taking this car to those locations. How would you know about the eye cover, though? Like, wasn't the eye cover something that was granted after her coming out of Hollow Zero? Which, supposedly she hasn't met her teammates. She hasn't, like, met her teammates' family since after that event, so... Unless she also wore an eye cover before? This is funny. Oh yeah, if it was not her abandoning him, Dad could have come back safely. Based on what? You know? How many survivors were there? You really honestly think that if she, like, I mean, to be fair, it could be very true. Like, if she wasn't injured, like, it could be that her comrades stood there to defend her, and if they had just bailed and ran, if she was not injured, and all three of them, or the remainer had, you know, tried to retreat, it's possible, but, you know, no proof, obviously. Yeah, I mean, I get it, right? She's a child, she doesn't quite understand. And at the end of the day, she lost her father. Yeah? And it's just one of those things that, like, victims like to do, is that victims like to blame other victims. Because that's someone who they can blame. They can't blame Hollow Zero. Like, it's an amorphous entity. Like, it's like blaming a hurricane, right? You don't blame a hurricane. You're like, God damn, I'll hate this hurricane. No, you're gonna hate the people who, like, didn't, you know, tell the people in the path of the hurricane to evacuate. You're like, oh my God, it's this piece of shit who didn't tell us to evacuate in time. It's all his fault, right? You don't blame the hurricane, you just blame other people. you know, because that's who you can blame. It happens in stories a lot where it's just like I hear, like I've seen it in like isekai stories where like a hero shows up, you know, monsters are attacking, a hero shows up, defeats the monsters, and then you get the victims of the village blame the hero for not showing up earlier, right? Because the monsters attacked, they lost some people. Some people died in the monster attack. And even though the hero showed up and saved the day, saved the remainder of the town, they blame him for not being there earlier, regardless of whether that was feasible or not. They blame him for not being there earlier because they can blame him. He's there. He's not going to kill them. He's not a monster, right? Rather than blame the monsters, who are the actual people at fault, they'll blame whomever they can, which is of course fucked up. But it's just how, you know, it's just a method to ease their own guilt by you know, making other people guilty. Yeah, I mean, like, the adults understand, you know. It's the adults who have already processed their grief. Because essentially, the blaming other people, that's something you do. I would assume it's the denial stage of grief, whereas everyone else, you know, has gone to the acceptance part. Now, it's a little weird that the daughter is still blaming her. Like, you might be like, oh, she's a child. Yeah, but, like, this happened, like, 10 years ago. This happened ages ago. Well, yeah, I would assume 10 years ago, but who knows, really. But it happened at least 5 years ago. It happened between 5 and 10 years ago. Like, I don't know. It's kind of weird that the daughter is still hung up on that, because, like, you probably don't even have that many actual memories of your father in the first place. Yeah, and that's kind of what I was thinking, is that maybe she was too young, so the mother didn't really broach the subject. And maybe only maybe a year or two ago, or maybe even just this year, she finally brought her daughter to Remembrance Day, or maybe she always brought her, but maybe this is the first time she's properly explained what it actually means.
そんなこと言うもんじゃないよ。君がまだ生きていてくれたことが最大の慰め。
そんな、私には分かっています。弱い私はその結末を直視せず、遺族の皆さんに面と向かって謝罪申し訳ありません。どうやらまだお分かりではないみたいですね。顔を上げて。私を。
True, and they were fighting to protect the city, and the city is protected, right? Like, the Hollow Zero is no longer expanding, it's no longer, you know, people are no longer dying, you know, you did protect the city, right? It's hard to guess how much worse this would have been if you hadn't been there fighting. It also could have been, like, nothing would have happened, like, it could have been that the Hollow Zero would have expanded to the point it did and then just stopped anyway. No real way to prove this, but even still, you know, you guys did fight, and everyone's alive. So, well, the people you were fighting to protect are still alive, and that's what actually matters.
娘は芸大に行きたがってて、あの人も生前はずっとそれを。
私もママも辛い時期はあったけど、それでも。
It's weird though. Like, it should, like, she looks less than 10, right? She looks younger than 10. And so, but this event had, the Hollow Zero thing had to happen many years ago. At least, as I was saying, at least 5 years ago. So if she's 10, hell, even if she's like 12, you know, that'd be 7. Who the fuck remembers anything when they were 7? How would she have any memories of her father when, I guess unless they recorded it, perhaps. Maybe there's like home videos or whatever.
せてください。
私の病気のこと。
はい、エセルさん。
そうとも。ただあの子は肝心なとこを黙ってたようだね。サーリーさんとこと同じように遺族年金も。そう思うと私も健康。私は息子をただ心配する。
僕は実を。
服のデザイン。
そうだ、君も知っての通り妹はファッション。実際に触れてみたらこれがなかなか面白くてね。とにかく来年には自分のブランドを立ち上げる予定なんだ。休暇で家にいる時も妹は。
今あなたが見て聞いたように、あなたたちが命がけでありがとう。ありがとう。
疑問の日といえば、
そういうエセルおばあ様こそ前に参加されるかお尋ねした時。
Uh-oh. Yeah.
ああ、僕もネイさんから連絡が来た。
あれまあ、私もだよ。
皆さん、レテの弟さんですよ。おそらく私たち遺族の中でも
ああ、あのキュート陥落の時、当時のことを何度も聞いたよ。あのホロー災害が尋常じゃないと分かっ。
あの子、あれからずっと自分を責めててね。こちとら遺族だ。そのことを恨みもしたさ。けどあれから随分経った。
お聞きしてもよろしいでしょうか。
オブシディアン大隊の。
いえ、ただ。
Okay, so is it Nathan? Like, I don't know why Nathan would be killing people in the defense squad. Because, like, he's killing grunts in the, like, he's killing just regular soldiers. Like, how is that? Like, unless these are soldiers who retreated before the official orders came out, and so he's blaming them on retreating. But even then, why would you kill one of the survivors? And instead not go after the people who made the decision in the first place? Because they're the ones who doomed everyone inside by not sending reinforcements. Oh, is that a girl that we met?
演台の上に立って。
あの人が兵士を代表して演説するの？
皆さんご静粛に願います。続きまして。
Wait a minute. Nemesis squad. That's a different squad. She said she was a different squad. She said a different squad when we met her.
の皆さん、この度は多くの方が。
Pretty sure she said a different squad. So is she the one who did it?
かけがえのない仲間たちがホローの中に消え、永遠に戻らない。ですがご遺族の皆さん、どうか彼らを誇りに思ってください。防ぐことのできない災害を前にして命を投げ打ち、新エリートの皆さん、亡き兵士たちの意志を胸に。本来であれば私の挨拶はここまでです。皆さんが私の言葉を受け入れてくださったのは、それが痛みを手放す足がかりとなるからです。
So it was her. I thought it was going to be the friend, that was the disappeared friend. Although maybe she is the maybe she is the disappeared friend. Maybe the friend who disappeared took Zoe's appearance.
今を大切にとか、ゼロからの再スタートと言って、誰もあの05ホローで犠牲になった兵士たちに思いを馳せることはしません。新エリートを再建したのは、そんな皆さんの拍手からはその論理を受け入れたことがありありと分かりました。あなたたちが忘却を選ぶなら、死者たちの犠牲には一体何の意味が。
ゾイさん、
よく見てください。死がここにいない者にとっての勲章なら、痛みはここにいる者が背負うべき。開いたままの傷口に指を突き刺し、骨を
私はそうは思います。
カロン、あなたも来ていたとは思わなかったわ。人探しは順調？何か言いたいことが。
配偶者の残したお金とともに立派に娘さんを育て上げた人。 息子さんの最後の努力によって死者たちの意志はここにいる一人一人の中で生き続けます。以前の私であれば一も二もなくあなたの言葉を受け入れたでしょう。だから私は開いたままの傷口。私たちはそれぞれが自分の中に音を奏でるためのハーモニカを持っています。随分と自信があるようね。確信があるわけでも具体的な音が浮かんでいる
ハロン、私の目は確かだった。
私も。
皆さん、長引かせてしまって申し訳。
黒騎士さん、
あの人の態度にも考え方にもさっき
彼女の正体。
Yeah, obviously she's the Grim Vulture.
どうやら私たち完全に侮られていましたね。全焼基地という堂々と現れ大手を振って去っていった。
Oh, okay. I thought she was gonna pull us into Hollow Zero since we're right next to her.
人質の写真。
どうするカロン。
決めました。全てを壊してしまおう。
Okay, but I've been walking for an hour and 10 minutes, so I'm going to call it with that. This is it was pretty good. Actually, I was wondering if that was going to be it, right? If that was going to be all that it was. You know, if that was just going to be, if they were just going to end it at Remembrance Day without actually capturing her, because like, that seemed like wrap up all that shit properly. But I guess, yeah, I don't know. Like, so I'm curious if Zoe is actually her, is the Grim Vulture, because like I'm curious who the friend was, because the other girl mentioned that she had a blonde friend who was also captured with her that she had seen, and so I was assuming that the blonde friend was the one who did it, right? The blonde friend was the one who knocked her own friend out. You know, was her friend maybe to get closer for this very reason, and then knocked everyone out. But then obviously with Zoe acting like that, I'm like, shit. So, I mean, maybe the blonde friend killed the real Zoe and replaced her. I was actually thinking it was maybe the information broker too. I'm like, oh, maybe he's the one, because he seems suspicious. But obviously I didn't have much information at the time. So now obviously we can see that Zoe's super suspicious, but like, how could anyone have possibly known that Zoe had been replaced, right? So, yeah, hard to say. And like in the end, it could still be that friend. It could be that, yeah, like maybe she'll take off a wig and be like, oh, I'm the blonde friend that the other girl mentioned. Ha ha ha. And I took Zoe's identity after killing her. Yeah. It does suck, you know. It is a little weird though that she's like blaming like the soldiers. It's like, if you want to blame anybody, it would be blame the people who gave the orders to retreat and not send the reinforcements. Like, those are the people who are actually at fault. And again, it's another misplaced resentment type shit, where it's just like how I was saying before, like a hero arrives too late, defeats the monsters attacking a town, and the villagers blame him for not coming there sooner. It's the same mentality. It's like you blame what you can, and she can blame the soldiers who didn't save them, but ignore the fact that it was the it's really the higher ups who did this. It's like, you know, the soldiers were on the front lines fighting, and if you're blaming the soldiers who didn't actually, you know, who were ordered to retreat and not go in, it's like it's not their fault to do that. They are still soldiers, and just going in by themselves would just, without like proper backup, you know, is just asking for death. So again, yeah, it's just someone, you know, blaming the wrong people, and yeah, just it's misguided resentment. And what can you do? It's not emotional. I mean, sorry, it's not logical. So you can't like logic them out of it. You can't be like, well, oh, this is stupid. It's like, no, it's an emotional reaction. You can't get them to get out of that kind of mentality. So yeah, it's whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and call it with that. But thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.